Today we're going to be working on this M1 MacBook that suffered a liquid spill. You can still see some liquid right here. Looks like coffee or possibly soda. When I plug in the MagSafe power adapter, I get nothing. What I do see is on the ammeter I have 5 volts, so it's not going up 20 volts. And I do have an 800 milliamp current draw, which is quite a lot for something that's not doing anything at all. So it looks like there might be some kind of dead short on the board possibly. So I've gone ahead and disconnected the battery already, and it's still doing the 800 milliamps current draw. And I'm already seeing that there's like roach crap and stuff in here. So that's also going to be a factor. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the motherboard. So right here we can definitely see a lot of residue from whatever got spilled, and then there's like a little dead roach right here as well. So right away there's a big stain on the side of the board and tons of roach crap on the top, and just a straight up dead roach right there as well. Lots of little roach crap everywhere. It's kind of interesting, this roach was right on top of here, which I believe is the backlight circuit for the screen, which is a high voltage circuit, usually somewhere around like 50 to 60 volts, maybe even 70 volts. But it probably was crawling around there and just got the crap shocked out of it. And there is actually like a spot of like, looks like corrosion, possibly burnt. That's probably what killed this guy. So we're gonna put this away in the trash. We need to go back with the microscope. It looks more like the liquid damage here. This area here is the spot where all the roach crap was. It's pretty extensive, so this one has me a little bit more worried. Most of the corrosion doesn't look that deep. These capacitors here look bad, so we'll have to replace those. Backlight circuit area right here where the roach was, probably this IC is going to have to be reflowed as well, and probably replace a few capacitors there as well. Before it goes into the ultrasonic cleaner, we're going to remove all these little shields, and they don't need to go back on. I think in this case these are mostly here to keep interference in. So we're going to take off whatever thermal paste is left so it doesn't contaminate the ultrasonic cleaning liquid. So into the ultrasonic cleaner it goes. So here's the board after ultrasonic cleaning. Thankfully it looks pretty good. This is just a quick look over. Cover capacitors are still pretty crusty. Definitely these guys here look pretty bad. And then the area around the backlight IC. Corrosion is gone, but you can see it reveals that the end cap on these capacitors and resistors are totally gone. So first thing I'm going to do is apply some acid flux. Normally we don't use acid flux for these kinds of job, but to eliminate heavy corrosion it works really good. And first I'm just going to try and reflow the backlight IC. If the backlight IC still doesn't work, then we'll just outright replace the AC altogether. Alright, the AC has dents. The only components I really see that are really bad are this one, this capacitor, and the ones that are still good or will just re-tin pretty much instantly. See, like that one took the solder pretty well. Should be okay. Let's give this one a try. Same thing here. This one looks like it'll be okay. Now let's try this resistor. Same thing. Looks like it'll be okay. And then I'll just tin these pads where this capacitor came off. Alright, so I've been going around dealing with all the damaged components. Right here I replaced all the back capacitors. This one right here I didn't have the right package. It's a little smaller, but I just put that in there. It's the right rating. Over here I replaced several of these capacitors. These 3 are brand new. These 2 I think I also replaced. These 2 I just retinned. Right here retinned a bit of stuff. Right here replaced all these capacitors, and then anything else that was damaged I retinned. It wasn't so bad. Right here we're missing one resistor, but this is a kind of a specific value. It's 11.5 kilo ohms. My resistor kit only has 11 kilo ohms, so I want to get this value exact because this is a voltage divider right here, and I don't want to mess with the value too much. So we'll put one 11 kilo ohm and one 500 kilo ohm. Really it's 550 kilo ohm, but it'll be close. So we're gonna take, and these are 0201 package size, which are really small, although not the smallest. So I soldered that one standing up, and so right now I'm gonna very quickly add a little drop of solder. So right here I kind of have a less than ideal situation because this pad is really damaged and it's just kind of hanging on by a hair. So I want to see if I can move the end of this resistor a little bit over here. I don't want to leave it where it's like barely making any contact. It is making contact, but I just want to see if I can move it over just a tiny bit. So I think what I'm going to do is this, bridge them with a piece of wire. I kind of would have liked it to keep that little pyramid shape, but I just didn't like that I basically had to be at the very worst part of this one pad here in order for that to work. It should give pretty good mechanical strength too. Everything else came out pretty good. The acid flux that we used to kind of get rid of the corrosion really needs to be cleaned off properly because it can continue working just from heat alone, and if it stays, it'll continue eating away at the metal, and we don't want that. Alright, so second time out the ultrasonic bath, just rinse it off, do an alcohol bath, blow everything off. Okay, so this is after the ultrasonic cleaning. Everything looks way better than it did before. Here the solder mask came off a little bit. I do want to maybe tin this little copper trace here because it's long enough to where if it corrodes in the future it might lose continuity. This one I think I'll leave alone. This right here is just a quick matter of tinning that little trace. Kind of concerns me, this little resistor divider thingy here, because it did, we had to stand it up vertically. I think it's mechanically stable. The wire is pretty thick. It doesn't seem to be wobbly. I think what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of Captain tape in case it wants to short out against anything, since it's sticking out of the board. But I think there's other stuff that's taller than it, so it's okay. But just in case, oh, that should be good enough. So just because we fixed all this doesn't mean the board is working now. We have to put it in the computer and see what it does now. I'm kind of curious about just hooking up the charge port and feeding power into it and seeing what it does, because last time we were getting like 800 milliamps just from plugging it in. Hook this up, and if I go to the ammeter, I do see it switching, and we have a light now, which we didn't have before. Watching the current on here, I don't know if it's booting, but that's better than before. Alright, so I'm just cleaning off whatever was left of the thermal putty. I didn't get it on camera, but I did see some more current draw, which seems to indicate that the computer is booting, thank God. We still have to confirm, though, that everything is okay. We might still have backlight issues, etc. Now heatsink goes back on. When I put these heat sinks back on, I always try and go in a crisscross type pattern, try and even out the pressure as much as I can. That way the thermal putty distributes evenly and the heatsink stays nice and flat on the CPU. Now comes a long process of putting this thing back in, because these are probably some of the most tricky ones to put back in here because of all the different connectors and shields and screws and everything you got to watch out for. So we're not going to put everything back just yet, like all the shields and screws, until we do more testing. We'll put back the shields for these display connectors, because these really need to have the shields on them because they don't hold on very tight on their own, which I always find that a little bit distressing, as you do not want to cross connections on these. You have high voltage lines right next to data lines and stuff like that. Crappy design, really. We have boot up Apple logo. Let's see if it goes into the login screen. We might still have keyboard issues too, because they may have spilled liquid, although most of the liquid seems to be coming from over here. Right now we're getting fast fan spin. I don't know if you can hear that. That's because the battery's not connected. So everything is looking good. Backlight is working. I'm really happy that the backlight is working. I was really kind of skeptical about that, seeing how much corrosion and a straight up dead roach was on the circuit. Keyboard is working as well, so that's great. We don't have to worry about that. Usually when you get liquid damage, that's always a risk. Trackpad is working. It's clicking. So everything's looking pretty good so far. Alright, now we need to put back all the shields too. So I just noticed the problem, which is that this little latch for the battery connector or the battery ribbon cable is missing, so I need to try and find one of those. So here's another junk board. There we go. Perfect. Get rid of some of this roach crap that's really stuck on there. It's like it kind of oxidizes itself. I'm not going to go out of my way to like make this perfectly clean, but so long as it's not touching the board or anything like that. And we really need to advise this customer, even though it's a little bit embarrassing. You shouldn't be embarrassed, because this is really kind of not that uncommon. We see this a lot, but the thing is, roaches are very attracted to electromagnetic activity, I'm guessing. They like the noise that comes off of the buck converters and all that kind of stuff on the board. And so if you have roaches in your house, be wary about your expensive electronics, because they're going to be all up in there. Make sure I blow out the fans. So now we'll just clean it up and do some final testing. So everything turned out good. Everything's nice and clean now. Send us your device from anywhere in the country. 5034 South Archer, Chicago, Illinois. Check out our mailing page on our website, computerprodigies.com.